All right, let's get the show on the road. This is another grandiose episode of the Anti-Show. First off, thank you very much for enjoying this and taking your time to watch the Anti-Show. Really means a lot to me. All right, let's get the show started. All right, this show is going to be a really kind of like a mini episode, just because a good friend of the show, Humberto Gloria, dropped in a question. Let's get to the question really quick. Humberto said, "I've seen your show along with your music vids, and I see you have a lot of experience. I've started to make comic skits and post them on Face, and started a channel on YouTube. What can I expect in the realm of rejection and ridicule from my own peers who know me personally? Like they say, a prophet is not loved in his own town. Any advice in that area?" Wow, dude, thank you very much for asking me. I mean, just to know that, to think that I'm one of the persons that you thought of to ask this question, that's a question so profound. Dude, thank you so much. I really, really deeply appreciate it. And I want to honor that with giving you the best response that I can and the best advice that I can. So here we go. Let's get to it. First off, this is a really interesting question because it talks about rejection and ridicule from your own peers, the people who know you personally. And to answer that really accurately is to relate my own experience. 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago maybe, I started singing. I was not a singer. I was just a dude that, I did some creative stuff in the film world and the video world and the TV world, commercials and whatnot, but I had never become a musician. And one day I just said, you know what? I always wanted to be a musician. Not be a musician, but just learn how to play. Learn how to sing and play the guitar at the same time. That is it. All right? Somehow things got metamorphosized and I became a musician. All right? And the first video that I posted was called Being Okay. Put a link up. And man, I was scared shitless because I had no idea what to expect in terms of rejection and ridicule, because it was a new thing to me. It was something that was totally, I knew people would go, what, a musician, really? Why? Fast forward 2 years later, I have had experience where people actually introduced me as, oh, this is Ricky, he's a musician. Like, I guess I am. So, having said that, and having had that experience early on, 2.5 years ago, where I was like, oh my God, where am I? And then suddenly getting gigs, suddenly getting familiar on stage, putting out videos on YouTube with my music, with my original music. And that's kind of like what you're doing. And for those of you who are not really familiar with Humberto had just started a YouTube channel called Downtown Comedy. Let's link that up. And another thing is that I've learned is, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? If people are really going to be your friends, and if people really care about you and they care about your happiness and your betterment as a human being, and if they really care that you're happy doing what you're doing, who the cares if what you're doing and makes you incredibly happy? And it's probably more a reflection on them because you're making them feel shitty that they're not really doing anything. And that's even another thing. People are going to criticize you anyway, all right? If you do nothing on one hand, they'll criticize you for being lazy. If you do something and do something new, they're going to criticize that. And that's yet even another train of thought. Whereas creative people, my friends, musicians, my friends, filmmakers, my friends that create stuff, my friend painters, poets that create new stuff every day, they're inventing something that didn't exist yesterday. All right? It did not exist yesterday. It's open. It's fresh to the world. Nobody has an opinion on it because it's brand new. You're like, what do I make of this artwork? It's totally brand new. And because it's brand new, because it's not familiar to people, there may be connections to former artwork that was inspired by, but that piece of work, that song, that poetry, that piece of comedy that you're making is brand new to the world. So of course it's going to be open to criticism and ridicule, and people are going to form their own opinions anyway. But as long as it makes you inside, to get that out of you, to get that out of your system. And by the way, I really like the banner that you have up on YouTube that says something to the I don't remember verbatim, but it says something like, if you don't laugh every day, then like it's not cool or something like that, or you're dying, or something profound like that. But I thought it was really, really cool. And that should really speak about you. That speaks volumes about you. So dude, do not be afraid. One more thing, on peers, you know, I was alluding to the fact that you're probably making them feel shitty that they're not doing something, which is probably right. And, you know, that's the thing they have to deal with, all right? Not you. You're doing stuff. You're creating new shit, all right? They're the ones who have to deal with with themselves not being able to produce or whatever, you know, because we all have that inside of us, man. We all have that wanting to express ourselves, to communicate ourselves. It doesn't have to be through art, but through talking to one another, to you know, there's like a million ways to express yourself through sports, like a million ways, even through cooking, for Christ's sake. So there you go. One more thing on failure, and this is like a really big one that I've seen, especially at open mics in Austin and in San Antonio. Beginning musicians are just nervous as hell and trying to, you know, do their best, and they're super talented and super amazing, and yet there they are. They're doing stuff like you and me, Humberto. That they're making videos and putting themselves out there for the world to see and to criticize. But dude, what they don't understand, and what I have begun to understand now, just really recently, is that you really, really have to push yourself to the point of failure, because if you don't grow. And let me put a metaphor on this. Bodybuilders, which I am not, but bodybuilders have a really good saying, I guess, would be kind of like the thing that they would say when they're trying to build a muscle, when they're trying to build form on their body. They have a thing that they say, and it's called to the point of failure. All right? When you go and do exercise, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, just, you know, don't do 10, just do until the point of failure. What that is, it's a good thing. To them, it's a really good thing to reach failure. Why? Because you're trying to flex the muscle, you know, who cares, blah, 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 you're doing it, blah, blah, blah. And then when it really starts to hurt, and first it starts to hurt, and normal people like you and me are like, all right, that's it. All right, we're done here. But of course, the bodybuilder is about overachieving and achieving greatness with their body. So they just keep going beyond the pain, beyond the pain. They go beyond and beyond and beyond until their muscle just can't go anymore. They can't go any further, and it fails. Their muscle actually fails to perform. That is the point of failure. And what happens to a muscle that has reached the point of failure? You're actually destroying the muscle tissue when you reach to that point of failure, and it starts to rebuild. And it starts to grow from what you kind of destroyed or failed there. So it's kind of like the muscle has learned to grow out of its messed up state of failure. So it just grows and regenerates. And guess what? They do the next following day, or the next 2 days, or whatever. They go to the point of failure again. And they keep doing it and doing it until you reach Schwarzenegger proportions. And that is how you build a muscle. That is how you become a great artist. That is how you become a great writer, painter, musician, cook, chef, anything you want to be in life. You have to be prepared to fail. And one other thing, and this is like crucial to me, because when I learned this, I was like, wow, you mean it's actually possible for me not only to achieve greatness? I guess that's too much like, oh yeah, I want to be great. It's not about being great. It's about doing really good work that you yourself are satisfied. You with doing great work with you yourself is satisfied, because people have different criteria of what they're like satisfied about. Oh my God, that was great. And you're just like, well, that actually sucked. So you yourself are the one who's measuring stuff. I'm not saying distance yourself from the audience. Accept feedback, of course. But dude, just keep doing great work that you yourself think is really cool. Dude, even the Beatles sucked when they started. I just heard an amazing story where the Beatles were starting out, right? And one person that was at the cavern watching them perform, they said, oh my God, these dudes would be great for this other venue I have going on over here. And he hired them. What the Beatles did not know was that these gigs were for like something crazy, like 6 to 8 hour gigs per day with no rest, 7 days a week, playing 6 to 8 hours a day. And that might be a little bit wrong. Maybe it was 10 hours. Maybe it was 5 hours. That's not the point. The point is that they had to play live and perform for a really long time in front of people on stage every single day. All right? Every single day. And that is how you become great, dude. By practicing, by just doing it. Not only did they, some people have, for example, me in my case, I became comfortable on stage after going to open mics for musicians every single day. All right? Every single day, just kept going and going and going and going and going and going. Some people might play, if I were in a small town or something, and I didn't get the chance to play in front of an audience every single day, I would have done it at least 1 time a month or 2 times a month or whatever. Let's say 1 time a month, all right? That's 12 times a year, all right? And if I did it every week, that would be 52 times a year. I did it every day for about 2 to 3 months. Even if it was 2 months, that means that I played approximately 60 times. 60 times in 2 months. So I was just learning, reaching the point of failure, embarrassing myself in front of audiences almost every single day, just trying out new stuff. And then, I'm not here to say, oh my God, now I'm really fucking great. Of course not. That's not the point. The point is that I reached a place where I'm like really comfortable with myself and really comfortable on performing and doing stuff on stage that I had absolutely no idea if the 15-year-old me were to watch me right now, I was like, how did that happen? Wow, when? How? And with that, my friend, that is the best advice I can give you. And I'm going to end it with a song because it is really appropriate that I wrote a song to really inspire this kind of risk taking, because you're putting yourself out there. It's really risky. So this song I dedicate to you, my friends, and to all my creative friends. It's called Risktakers. And here we go. And I'll slow it down because it's like a punk song. All right. I know it's hard for you to imagine, I really don't know what's in your head, but if you release your mind, you might be surprised by the incredible things we can do, because risk takers take it on. I was once afraid, but then the thought that you might die any day, because risk takers take it on. Whoa. Don't need that much money to accomplish everything your heart desires. Everything is simply inside your head. So whatever you might fear, nobody will make fun, and if they do, well, who cares? They're probably too chicken shit anyway. Risk takers, take it on. I was once afraid, but then the thought that you might die any day, because risk takers, take it on. Oh, hey, whoa, whoa, yeah, 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 all right, oh, oh. There are two types of people in this world, the ones that do and those that don't. If you risk, I guarantee that you will lose. But it doesn't matter, because if you at least get a taste of accomplishment, it feels better than anything in the whole entire. If it's a girl, go get her. If it's getting what you're worth, better be aware that the risk takers are gonna take it all, because risk takers take it all. I was once afraid, but then the thought that you might die any day, because risk takers take it all.